and then we will let Azim in.
Yes, I'm here.
Yep, you can take over the screen. And
Thank you.
Azim is the Supercenter PhD student of Linköping University, and one of the projects he's working on is tools for visualizing continuous integration. Please, Azim, go ahead.
Yeah, do you see my screen, information needs and demo, Kristian?
Yes.
Great. So I'll start from here. Thank you for giving the opportunity to present. Before I move to a demo, I have some thing to present about the information needs because that's the work we also did during this sprint. And the idea is that, of course, all the companies in Software Center or outside are working with continuous integration and continuous delivery, and they are producing lots of data, and they are trying to find a proper visualization tool so they can see the bottleneck or what's coming in or when some releases or products are going out. And some of the companies in Software Center are putting resources into AFL protocol. Those who are new and do not know about AFL protocol, I'll have one slide at the end before the demo. So what we did, we tried to find what question people or programmer ask in continuous integration, because we thought that this is the good step before we jump to a visualization, that we should know what people need, what question do they look for, what information needs they have. So we did this study with 5 different companies, three from Software Center, 2 outside, and we found these information needs. It's a big complicated table in front of you, but I'll take a moment to explain it. But before I jump into the right side of the table, I'll give a few seconds so you can have a look on the left side where these requirements, information needs are. Kristian, do you also see my pen when I'm writing?
Yes, I do.
Good. So please spend a few seconds to read the needs we identified in continuous integration and delivery. These needs are not restricted to developers because there are many stakeholders: developer, tester, project manager, release team, compliance authority. So, and we have categorized them with testing and code. So I think there are 27 needs. The question people ask during continuous integration. Um, so what we did, we had this 5, like I said, companies with which we did the interview study, and then we find these are not the stated need. It's not that they said we need this or we asked this question. It was a more deep study where we met with them, we looked at the artifact, we had this 2-way conversation to find out what do you do during this time, what did you ask, what was the last question you asked in the last week, all these things. So what we find out that current handling approach of this information needs, how people are addressing at this moment their needs. And it's a bit amazed to find out that only company A, if you look on the right side, which is a network company, I'm not revealing names here. So only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 needs are addressed by in-house visualization, which means that only company A is putting a development effort to find visualization tool or to create visualization tool that can directly address those needs. And then rest of the companies A, B, C, D are using external visualization tool. For example, it could be Jenkins, Jira, GitHub, or other tools that they are deploying, Neo4j or a GraphQL. We also noticed that some people, for example, here, e-company, they're not doing nothing. Or some people are doing manual inspection. The manual inspection could be logging into checking a log file, calling a friend, sending an email. So we find out that where the companies are standing at this moment with respect to identified need at this moment, current. And then we see a big gaps where the company says, okay, we do a manual approach here, all the companies in this area. We also find out that most people use Jenkins, GitHub, Jira, and manual. This is something that we find out that yes, there is a need for a visualization tool to address the company's need. And then we also try to find out the importance and frequency of the information need. We wanted to find out the need they have, how important are they, how frequently they ask this question, how much effort they put at this moment, and how much time it takes them to address this need at this moment. And then this table is sorted from largest value to a smallest value, where 4.8, if you look, it's very important, important to very important, and 1 is good to know. And same with the frequency, 5 mean they ask it very frequently, and 1 mean dependent on the context. And same with the effort, 1 mean very easy, and 5 mean very difficulty. So we can clearly see a relationship that all those requirements or information needs that are important, they are also frequently asked, and they also put much effort into this. And the companies, it's an average time, it doesn't represent the individual company, but it took them average 15 to 20 minutes to address this. And you can see 4.5, 4.6. So all the most important requirements are also frequently sought, and the effort has been put. And we also noticed that this one, they said that, okay, this is the least important, good to know. And it also very less frequently asked, but it also take a lots of effort to know how people do that. So we try to find this table for our publication, and then we find it's a pointer for our companies to see, okay, these are the needs we have and how can we start. Then we okay. These are the needs. Now we find out, and then we wanted to create a visualization tool. We don't want to create a new tool, but I have been presenting VC tool for so long over the last year during the reporting workshop. And the VC tool, which is here, it started early with just accepting a big JSON file with 50,000 event and then create only one visualization. But then we tried to make it a live tool where the events can be added live. Then we tried to add a databases. So it has gone through a very big modification. So though for those, I'll just take a few seconds to explain for those who are new and haven't attended the previous presentation that this visualization tool, which I'm presenting today, it is actually based on the AFL event. It's an AFL protocol open source by the Ericsson. The idea is that on your Git or Jenkins or Jira or whatever tool you are using in your continuous integration, whatever you do on those tools, you create an event. So you submit a code changes, a JSON event is created. You run the build, you run the test cases, you created JSON events. You do some bug issues or you fix a bug, you create a JSON event, and it goes to a RabbitMQ. And this visualization tool here, it keep listening to the RabbitMQ, all the JSON event, and then create a visualization tool. VC, FLVC here is the only tool at this moment that understands AFL events, but we are working on it. So, and the event, like I said, if you look at the AFL community on the Google, these are the number of events, activity created, published. So they are different events, and it looks like this, a JSON event, where you put so much information. For example, the type of the event is test suite finish, what time it was released, what was the ID, what was the verdict, failed, what was the conclusion, and other information. You can customize it. So the tool used this information in order to generate the visualization. Now I'll move to the demo tool. What we're trying to do is to modify the tool based on the needs we have identified. So we'll see that does the tool answer the need I presented earlier, 27 needs, or what do we need to do? So I'll switch to a demo mode, which is here. Kristian, I'm sure you see two screens on my left and right, two browsers. Can you please confirm? Good. So usually the tool is, I'm doing this two window. So whenever I change something, you can see what's being changed. I'm making the changes on my right side of the browser, and the left side of the browser will stay like this so that you can compare that how visualization is being changed at this moment. So these on the left side, on the right side both, these are the events generated by one of the software center companies because they have put too much effort into producing plugins, and they are almost producing proper JSON event in Eiffel. So at this moment, what you are looking at a data from the company. There is possibility that this company consider activity in a different way or artifact in a different way, but we will not go into a detail what does artifact mean or what is activity mean. We will see that how the visualization is being filtered by the input we are giving. So what we did here is that we created this drop-down menu sequence. It's more of a proof of concept that the visualization tool can filter the information. And why we are doing it? Because last time when we created a visualization, it was too much information in on the screen, and people said, okay, this is good, but I need some filtering mechanism because I see so much irrelevant information. So the idea is that the first drop-down menu on my right side will have all the events that have been published by the company. So at this moment from the database, I can see activity started event, artifact created event, ART mean artifact published event, CLM stands for confidence level modified, test case started event, and test case execution recipe protocol event, and test suite finish event. So if there are many events, I think there are 22, I don't know how many events, events are there. It will show here depending on the data. So the option you will select on this menu, the other drop-downs menu will appear based on what you selected. So let's start with one where you say test suite finish event. TSF means test suite finish event. Then another drop-down menu will come which will say what are the properties of an event. And when I set properties, I'll move back and I'll say here. So these are the properties of an event, and they are different based on the event you select. So what we did, we tried to bring this into the demo. So we can say that test suite finish has category, has conclusion in it, has execution time, has name, has source, has type, add worded. And this can be modified. You can add some, you can delete some. So let's say category. Again, when we click category, now the values appear. I would like to add that in the second filter, we had the categories, which is this. And in the third, we have values like failed, successful, and time. So if I go back and I say, okay, I need category and I need this D2, this could be a product or this could be something. Like I said, when the company produces an event, it can assign any value to it. So we will not go into detail what does these represent, but these are the values. So if you see, you can see that here on the left side, the test suite finished has a more red area. And on the right side, test suite finished has a less area. But I go in more detail. For example, on the left side, when everything was there, no filter applied, we could see there were 87 total events in the database because this was the aggregated view. But since on the right side, I have applied two different filters, and if I click on test suite finished, I can see there are only two events related to test suite finish that belongs to D2050 here in this category. So I can see that information has been filtered. But let's dig a little bit deep that what does that mean? It doesn't only filter the test suite finish event, it also filtered the connected events. For example, here, okay, so here I can see that total activities are 2. But if you click on the left side, when there was an aggregated view, the total activities was 127. So the filter doesn't only provide you a limited information about test suite finish, it also provided all the corresponding events. So let's click here and go show all event. And then we can see two events that belongs to test suite finish. One is fail, one is pass. Now let's find this. Let's dig more into the database. I go here into the database. I find this event. I can see that this was the AFL test suite finish event, and it links back to some other events. Let's find what did it link back to. I copy it, I paste it here. It linked back to test suite started event, okay? And that test suite started was started on this product, which I just selected in the filtering approach. So what I'm trying to say here, that this filtering mechanism does not only get the values from the single event, but it trace backs all the previous event or the forward events and then get the values. So we show event. This is the second view. It gives me ID, type, start time, and then if I click here, failed, I can clearly see that the test suite finished was connected to activity started, and the visualization has been changed. So that's how, again, there is I presented this to the company from which I'm using the data, and they said that I was using the old data. So it could not make sense how the things are connected to you, because it's a company tacit knowledge is embedded in the data. So that's why what we are saying here, for those people who doesn't understand, who haven't looked on the AFL, that how things are changing into the events. Let's do some other. We have, if we do another product, M1137, you will see that the visualization has been changed significantly. That now, let me take that back. So on the left side, this was the original, but on the right side, based on this, we have only one event that is related to test suite finished, and that belongs to activity started. So let's see, click here, it has two events at this moment. We click on it, and then we click other. You can see, maybe I go back and I select another event. So you can see that since I told you that there are two activity started event, I see these two here. And when I click the first one, this one is selected. And if I do the second one, this one is selected. And now if you have other things with activity started, it will show up. So let's go back to maybe confidence level, CLM, which is an event. And then I say, okay, it has a name, issuer, source. The drop-down menu is not hard-coded to 3 level, no. If you have so many values in it, it will go through. For example, let's say issuer. Who's the issue? Who had issued the confidence level? You can say you want to find by name, by email. I say by name. Then the fourth one appears, which says, or this one. Or if I say group, then the nemesis, other information showed up. If I say email, then I see the email. So it's not only restricted, the drop-down menus are not hard-coded. So let's say I say CLM and issuer, and I say by email, and then I say project nemesis, or I say source. Yeah, I'm trying to be, yeah. So okay, not okay. You can see that when it's in not okay, it's more red, and it has 27 different events. You go back and then you click any of this. So you can see that, okay, the visualization has been changing. It can tell you that why it was failing here because of this, why this was failing because of this activity, why this is red, which means there is 0 confidence level because you created this artifact. Oh, and what is that artifact? Is this manually triggered artifact created. So I have one more. Let's say activity started, ACT as mean activity started event, and we have this source, trigger, execution type. I also have test case started, TCS. If you want to filter information with test case, then you say, what do you want to filter? Let's say execution time. And then all the execution times appear that have been added into a database. Earlier, when I was thinking during the lunch, I thought that rather than a drop-down menu, I can place a bar where you can say, I need all the test cases from 0 to few seconds. That's more user interface friendly. So if you click 8,500, then you will see this is the test case that takes 8,500, 85,000 milliseconds. And when you click on it, you can see further information. But if you want to go with the ID, you can see that all these IDs have come from the test cases. So if you want to investigate a specific test case, you can click on it and you can see, okay, this is the test case. There are 24 events related to this test case. Maybe you select another test case, you will see there is only 22 events, but it doesn't lead to anything. So these are the information we have presented. This tool is still undergoing. We have a bachelor student who's also working extensively on this course. I hope that within 1 month, the problems we have been identified with it will be solved. And then I'll push this into the AFL store repository where companies can try it. And we were also trying to go to the company from which I'm using the data so they can use it and provide us their feedback. But the idea is that this is the information filtering that have been implemented into the VC. So now what we are trying to do is that the plan we have proposed for the next sprint that we will do a workplace observation about the solution to select a set of information needs. So we will see what solution they have with respect to the need we have. Maybe we select all the needs or we select 2 or 3 needs that we have identified, and then we will find out the solution they have or how can we do that. We will also, if needed, refine information needs. Perhaps what they claim and what they do or what they search could be different. We'll look into it. And then we will formulate a conceptual model to a solution repertoire. So we'll see that, okay, VG could be a one way to use with the AFL, or perhaps we can target a more general framework that can utilize VC events or other. I'm not sure about it. We will meet with the companies and we'll look into their details, how they are going, and formulation of the first pattern. So the idea is that push the code of the VC, let company play with it and provide us a feedback, as well as on the same way work with the formulation and conceptual model.